In the brutal, power-crazed world of Game of Thrones, love is often a weapon, a transaction, or a tragedy. Robb Stark's love for Talisa ended with a knife in his heart at the Red Wedding. Jon Snow's passion for Ygritte died with an arrow in hers beyond the wall. Even Daenerys Targaryen's brief romance with Drogo was forged in political alliance before it burned in funeral pyres. But amid all this chaos, all the betrayals, the bloodshed, the quests for crowns, there exists a love that defies the show's cruel logic. Jorah Mormont's quiet, unyielding devotion to Daenerys. It is not fiery or possessive. It is not rewarded with kisses or crowns. It is a love that stands in the shadow of her dragons, that endures exile and disease, that sacrifices everything for a woman who will never see him as more than a friend. And yet, it is this love raw, selfless, and unbroken that becomes the beating heart of Game of Thrones, a reminder that even in a world where good men don't live long, goodness itself can still leave an indelible mark. To understand Jorah's love, you must first understand the man beneath the armor. He is not a hero born of privilege. Once the Lord of Bear Island, Jorah fled Westeros after selling poachers to slavers, a crime that cost him his home, his honor, and his wife Lynessa, who left him for a wealthier lord. When we first meet him in Pentos, he is an exile, a knight without a liege, a man adrift in the free cities, clinging to the last shreds of his dignity. His initial motive for joining Daenerys' retinue is not love, but survival. He strikes a deal with Varys, the Master of Whispers, to spy on the Targaryen heir in exchange for a pardon that would let him return home. But something shifts in him the moment he sees her. Not the fragile girl married off to a Dothraki warlord, but the strength beneath that fragility. When Viserys, her brother, screams at her to remember who you are, Jorah is the one who leans in and says, "I do, your grace. And so do you." It is a small line, but it is the first crack in his armor. He stops seeing her as a pawn and starts seeing her as a leader. That crack widens as Daenerys grows into the mother of dragons. When Drogo dies and she steps into the funeral pyre, Jorah does not flinch. He watches her emerge, unburnt, with 3 hatchlings clinging to her shoulders, and his face softens, not with fear, but with awe. "She is the dragon," he whispers, and in that moment his spy's mission dies. He could have reported her to Varys, could have claimed his pardon and fled back to Westeros. Instead, he kneels. "I swear fealty to you, Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen," he says, "Queen of the Andals and the First Men, Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons. I swear it by the old gods and the new." It is a vow he will keep until his last breath. What makes Jorah's love so poignant is its selflessness. He does not love Daenerys to possess her, he loves her to protect her. When she is threatened by the warlocks of Qarth, he slays them with his sword, his face hard with resolve. Touch her, and you die. When she doubts her ability to rule, he reminds her of her strength. You are not your brother. You are not a beggar. You are a queen. He never asked for anything in return. He does not beg for her hand, or for titles, or for glory. He simply stands beside her, silent and steady, like a shield. Even when she banishes him twice for his past as a spy, he does not rage. He only says, "I loved you. I love you still," before turning to walk away, his head held high. It is a rejection that would break a lesser man, but Jorah carries it like a cross. He knows he deserves it, and he knows her trust is more important than his own pain. The greatest test of his devotion comes in the Slaver's Bay, when he contracts grayscale, a hideous, incurable disease that turns skin to stone and drives men to madness. He catches it while rescuing her from the stone men of Valyria, their diseased hands reaching for her as he cuts them down. When he realizes what has happened, when he sees the grey patches spreading across his arm, he does not tell her. He hides it, wrapping his arm in bandages, because he cannot bear to be a burden. "I would not have you see me this way," he tells her later when the truth comes out. "A monster." But Daenerys, for all her pride, weeps. "You are not a monster," she says. "You are my friend." It is not the declaration of love he might have secretly hoped for, but it is enough. He leaves to find a cure, not for himself, but for her. He cannot let her rule without someone she can trust. His journey to cure grayscale is a metaphor for his entire life, a lonely, painful quest for redemption. He travels to Old Town, to the Citadel, where the Maesters tell him there is no hope until Samwell Tarly, a fellow outcast, risks his career to treat him. When Jorah returns to Daenerys, his skin clear, his honor restored, he does not demand thanks. He simply kneels again, ready to serve. "I am yours, your grace," he says, "now and always." And in that moment you see it. His love is not about him. It is about her, her dream of breaking chains, her quest to take the Iron Throne, her legacy as a Targaryen. He is the quiet force behind her fire, the one who makes sure she does not burn herself out. Critics might argue that Jorah's love is unrequited and thus tragic, but that misses the point. His love is not a story of longing, it is a story of devotion. In a world where everyone is fighting for power, Jorah fights for something simpler, the woman he believes in. He does not care if she never loves him back. He only cares if she survives. This is the kind of love that transcends romance. It is agape, the selfless love of a guardian, a knight, a friend. It echoes the words of the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who wrote that the greatest and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Jorah feels Daenerys' greatness with every fiber of his being, and he dedicates his life to making sure the world sees it too. And make no mistake, Jorah's love shapes the fate of the Seven Kingdoms. Without him, Daenerys would have died in Pentos, or in the Dothraki Sea, or in Korth. He is the one who teaches her to fight, to rule, to trust her instincts. He is the one who reminds her of her humanity when power threatens to corrupt her. When she stands before the gates of Meereen and says, "I am not here to be a queen of ashes," it is Jorah's voice she hears in her head, the voice that told her years ago that she was more than a Targaryen. Even when she succumbs to madness in the final season, even when she burns King's Landing, Jorah is still there, fighting to protect her until the very end. In the Battle of Winterfell, he dies in her arms, a sword through his chest, his last words, a whisper, "I love you." She cries, not for a lover, but for a friend, for the man who never left her, even when she deserved to be left. In the end, Game of Thrones is not a story about dragons or thrones. It is a story about people, flawed, broken people, fighting for what they believe in. And Jorah Mormont is the purest example of that. He is not a perfect man. He made mistakes, he lied, he ran from his past. But he spent the rest of his life making amends, not for himself, but for the woman he loved. His love is not glamorous. It is not dramatic. It is just there, like the stars in the sky, or the waves on the sea, constant, unchanging, and essential. So forget the Iron Throne. Forget the wars. Forget the dragons. The real magic of Game of Thrones is in Jorah Mormont's love. A love that proves that even in the darkest world, even when all hope is lost, goodness can still survive. It is a love that does not ask for anything, but gives everything. It is a love that makes you believe, if only for a moment, that in the end, the best of us might just win. And in a show that so often tells us winter is coming. Jorah's love is a reminder that spring, even a quiet, uncelebrated spring, can come too.